Yeah.
All right, welcome all to Hit or Miss. I'm your host, Night Strike, and we've got a motley crew of panelists this evening. So why don't we introduce our panelists and kind of go over what we're going to talk about tonight? Because I got a couple topics. I've already sent my panelists an email of what topics we're going to go over, so they can catch up if they need to. But we'll introduce them first. So first up, live from the new digs, we've got Travis P11.
Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate the invite. Thank you very much. Cheap plugs as usual. Make sure you guys check out Caliber Corner on Monday nights at 6 o'clock Central Time. It's a little podcast that we do where we talk guns and ammo. And just a quick heads up, YouTube has now started deleting my videos. I'm getting notices basically daily about a video that's been taken off. It says it's been flagged and then it's been removed. They obviously say they don't have the people to review it, so you can't really do anything about it. So if you were there watching a video one day and it's gone the next, I want to apologize, but there's nothing in those videos that's inappropriate, but they're just pulling them. I just want to give everybody a heads up. So that's what's happening to my channel. Otherwise, I'm doing good. So thanks for the invite, man.
You see, they're taking your channels, your videos down, Travis, so you don't kill YouTube. Because you've already killed.
I know.
You killed VidMe. You killed VidMe.
Well, this has been happening a lot, though. Like AK-47 Operators Union had 20 videos taken down in one day, and, I don't. So, and like I said, it's nothing that violates their guidelines, but they seem to think it does. So, whatever, it's fine. They're sandbox, their rules. So, but the videos are still over on GunTube.org. So keep that in mind.
There you go. But that guy who did that documentary totally outed you as the man who single-handedly took down.
No, he did not. No, he didn't. That's just rumors and lies created by my competition. So. Yeah. No, I was just one person that uploaded a staggering amount of videos in a short period of time, but not the person that actually took it down. VidMe took itself down.
By allowing you to upload that many videos.
You can say that, but not having the surface space to keep the channel going is what it sounds like. So, yeah.
Yeah.
They should have said no. But they didn't. So, yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got my other friend. He's down in the Indiana area. He helps me run another show during the week. We call it Rants and Raves. So, roll call, unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me. Great time.
I'm glad you're not at work. So, hey, awesome.
2 in a row, baby. 2 in a row.
I know. Let's try to keep the momentum. All right. Next up, we've got Foos. What's going on, Foos? The Foos is loose.
First, you take empty brass, put a primer in it, powder, projectile, shoot, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, that was on Travis's show last night on Caliber Corner. This is hit or miss. Remember, it's different.
Wait, this isn't Caliber Corner?
No, it's not.
Ah, shoot.
This is Caliber Corner Light, so we talk about whatever on this show. So yeah.
You may want to consider shortening that tagline. It's going to be for a big bumper sticker.
Hit or miss Caliber Corner Light.
Wow. All right.
Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
Oh God. No. Next up, we've got Stacy, otherwise known as Mystic Guns. What's going on, Stacy?
Well, I'm glad I didn't try to talk earlier. I didn't even have my microphone plugged in.
Well, I'm glad you figured it out.
I just happened to notice the light wasn't on, and I forgot that I unplugged it to charge my phone the other day. But other than that, I'm good. A little tired and sore, but good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for jumping in.
Wait, did you beat your husband up again?
No. That's coming soon. I mean,
okay,
any day now, but we went out there target shooting, and I shot AR, and I shot the shotgun for the first time, so my shoulder's a little sore.
Which one did you shoot first? Was it a 12 gauge?
The AR. Yeah, 12 gauge.
12 gauge, yeah. Well, if you were shooting like buckshot Magnum, yeah, that's going to hurt your shoulder.
I have no clue what was in there, but I don't really shoot my back and my back issues and stuff. It's hard for me to shoot them anyways. But I've never shot a shotgun, so it's a little different.
To each their own. Then we got Duke Liberty. What's going on, Duke?
Hey, man. Thanks for the invite. Really appreciate it. Excited for the panel as always. So thanks for the invite, man. Let's have a good night.
All right. Kingpin, what's going on?
What's up? Hello, everyone. Thanks for the invite. Moo is in the house.
Uh-oh. We may or may not have a drunken Moo. Moo, I asked that you be on your best behavior this evening.
Is this a Triple X show or?
No. We're trying to keep this like PG-13, 14-ish.
Oh, you might as well just kick him out right now.
We're not smashing that. We're not smashing that.
We're not. No.
I'm good, man. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you for showing up. I didn't expect you to.
Still unpacking boxes. My wife has been honey badger on all unpacking. She runs circles around me.
All right. So, what topic do you want to go over first, Travis? We got Squib out there asking about that Hornady ad. Do you want to go over that first, Travis? You're muted again, buddy.
Man, okay. It wasn't showing that icon on my screen. I'm sorry. Hornady is a Nebraska-based company, and they do a lot of great things, and they've been to our range a couple times and had some public shooting days, which was pretty cool. You come out, try a bunch of guns out, and they show off their guns from their museum and stuff. But recently they've been doing, they did what I saw was a promotional ad basically saying that the NRA needs your support, and financially they're hurting, and they've had to lay off staff, and even the CEOs have taken a pay cut. And it's important we keep them going. So they're trying to, because Hornady does a lot of advertising in NRA publications, and there's a lot of promo videos that NRA and Hornady does together. So they're basically saying, and I looked it up. I looked at the financial status of the NRA, and they really are. And I'm not saying you should support them at all. This is totally up to you. But they've hemorrhaged a ton of cash in the last 2 years. In fact, they've had to borrow money a couple times. They had to ask for a line of credit to kind of keep things going. They are spending money, but they're also cutting back on their firearms education program. They're cutting back on their PAC spending and stuff like that. So they've taken a hit. So I don't know what it's going to take for them to, to turn around. But it was just kind of interesting to see Hornady advertising, trying to promote the NRA and stuff like that. I get it. They go hand in hand. But it's really? And they even admitted that the NRA has been a controversial, group over the last couple of years. They've even said that in the video. They said, we understand that there's a lot of anger or some frustration about the NRA, and it's we got to keep it going. We gotta give them contributions. And I'm there's been a lot of times they pretty much let me down, so I'm still up in the air if I want to renew my membership or not, because I let mine lapse and I haven't done so. So I don't know what people want to do. What do you guys? Where do we go from here with it? Are they going to get humble a little bit and start taking care of us gun owners, or what?
Yeah, and that's one thing. They didn't care about the bump stocks, and they said leave it up to the government. When they left it up to the government, look what happened. Yeah, so I'm not too keen on the NRA, but again, if Wayne LaPierre decides to not be the guy in charge, maybe he puts somebody else in charge, and he stops spending $300,000 on suits, maybe we can support the NRA again. But granted, this is just me talking on what I've heard and what we've seen in the past. Okay, so whether it's true or not, it was said, and unfortunately, what has been said cannot be unsaid.
And I've said this 100,000 times in these chats. I want to see an NRA representative in every Capitol building 5 days a week. They can afford to do it. They could afford it back in the day when we first started talking about this, because they were a nonprofit that was sitting on about $350 million at the end of their financial year.
Absolutely.
They could have easily, if I would have seen that presence there and not seen some of my rights taken away, even in Nebraska, we've lost some rights and we've had some threatening bills pop up, and our local gun rights groups have had to be the ones that have done the sticking up for us, and they have not been there for us. They have not testified and so on. If they would have that local presence there, and if they would have a tough or no compromise stance instead of, well, maybe we should consider doing this. Maybe we should consider doing that, like what we saw with the bump stocks, just an absolute no. We're not going to give an inch stance. I think they would have the respect of more gun owners, and that's just my opinion. I mean, there are other groups that I belong to too, but you know, yeah.
Right. And even though Hornady's come out and said this, that doesn't mean I'm not going to stop supporting Hornady and I'm not going to stop buying their ammo. I might continue to buy their ammo, but my opinion, I would rather support the GOA. What's the other one? The Second Amendment Foundation, or any number of these smaller state organizations, because I see them doing more work than the NRA. I've not seen the NRA actually put forth any effort other than taking credit for somebody else's work. And
I'm going to say this: they do contribute to ranges to help them get started. They did contribute to the range here in Lincoln, Nebraska, to get them going. A really good, generous grant, stuff like that's cool. That's the stuff I want to see them boast about. Don't ask for my money. Show me what you've done locally, or tell us what you do. And then, instead of saying, well, we need more money for the fight, say, no, well, we've worked on this issue. We've worked on that issue. And they do that in their publications, but that's the stuff that needs to be more public. That's what's going to sell me on it, is show me what change they make. And then also more with the education.
And they don't do that. They don't do that, but you seem to believe that they kind of cherry pick what states they help out.
I don't know. And then again, I understand they do offer the hunter education programs and things like our firearms owner education programs and gun safety and stuff. And that's great. I want to see more of that too. I want to see them take more of a role like that, more of a grassroots thing, acting more on the local level, defending the rights. If they would just have one rep, would it really be that? Because we even calculated it, and it would barely tap into their money if they had 50 representatives in the 50 Capitol buildings. Even if they paid them $50,000 or $80,000 a year, it would still be a drop in the bucket versus the revenue they bring in every year. That's what I want to see, is them defending my rights, because that's what I'm paying for, and that's what they always brag about that they do. Okay.
Right.
So, and like I said, I'm not saying you shouldn't join. Do it. If you see the improvements on your local level, support it. Great. And I know that they do some fighting and stuff, but I'm just not seeing it to the extent that I want. So, and that's just me complaining as a customer. That's all it is.
So, yeah. I mean, if you're out there listening, if you want to help Hornady and support the NRA, go for it. If you don't go for it. But no matter what, continue buying Hornady ammunition if you like the ammunition. If you don't like the ammunition, buy somebody else's ammunition. And that's part of the deal too, is I love their products, and I try to go out of my way to buy, because they in my opinion, they make great ammo. They do, and they're to me, they're a local business. They're a state-run business that I like what they do, and I've seen them support firsthand. But it's like, really, guys, why don't you tell the NRA to maybe get out and get more of a presence and then jump on board with them? You guys are the ones giving them the money or buying the advertising or whatever, doing the cross-promotional stuff. So, yeah. Right. So, I'm not here to harp on the NRA. That's not my job. It's somebody else's job.
Yep.
So, all right. So
that's all I got to say about that.
Moving on. We're gonna delve a little further into what's been going on with the COVID-19 pandemic right now. I know we're all tired of hearing it, but some of us have been.
Wait. What's going on?
You've heard of the coronavirus, have you not?
No. What's that?
There's record numbers of people that are getting into reloading now because they're home. So I think we should talk about what your average person should look for that's getting into reloading for the first time.
Yeah, no.
Because they're home. You've got nothing else to do,
You did that last night.
Get your kids into it. Put them to work. Have those kids popping out those spent primers. Let those kids get some hands-on. Get their hands dirty for once. Put those children to work.
The first thing you need is
third world countries do it. Why shouldn't you?
I had no idea this was Caliber Corner and not Hit or Miss. Oh wait, no, this is Hit or Miss.
Look, Nice Strike. I'm just trying to keep it relevant to COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
It's Caliber Corner Light.
No, it's not.
LYTE Strike Light. LYTE Strike.
Light Strike. Okay.
So you get a dental pick for the primer, and then you need triple aught bulk, triple aught steel wool. Clean inside of the brass.
Let's hear what he has to say about the COVID-19. I want to hear what's going on. Go ahead. Continue, Nice Strike.
Okay. Thank you for letting me continue.
I'm gonna mute myself just because I love.
Now, if you don't know what's been going on, the New York governor Cuomo, who has that bad-tempered, younger brother who doesn't like being called Fredo. Go figure. He went and used He used National Guard troops to grab ventilators, and the problem is, by doing so, could he not just do that same thing and grab guns in the state of New York, because they don't follow the government, they don't follow laws anyways, if he so wanted to. And that's the article I'm going over right now, because if you haven't heard that he's been requisitioning, the state of New York has been requisitioning ventilators and personal protective equipment from upstate hospitals and shipping them straight to New York City. So basically, they've been taking other areas' resources and equipment and putting them all towards New York City, basically leaving them high and dry.
So I mean, just because they told that they're not responding to a in-state company that wants to produce them and orders from out of country, and then out of country shipments get delayed. I mean, of course, their hands are tied. They have no option to. They have no option except for going out and taking stuff by force. I mean, that's all they have, right? I mean, if they would actually let a firearms company
that offered,
but no, they don't want to do that.
Well, let's be honest. Remington's track record hasn't been the best on firearms, so maybe that might have something to do with them making certain ventilators. I don't know.
But still, if they make, let's say they make 100 ventilators, at least 50 of them are going to work.
This is true. You got me there.
Hopefully they don't start when they're not supposed to, The only thing I'm going to say about the ventilators is the companies that want to make them, regardless of who wants to make them. And I did watch Sandhill Shooter's video. He had actually talked about that. Remington, should we trust them? Should we not trust them? They can't even make shotguns that don't go off when you pull the trigger with the safety on. Maybe if there was a common spec that could be released to these companies that they could build to, just like a common blueprint, and then they could somehow, I don't want to add more government oversight, but maybe have a QC person or somebody that can test these to ensure that they turn on and work, or that they're built. Maybe have a minor QC process that they have to go to before they send them out, so that you wouldn't have that defective problem. I'm surprised we don't have like a common blueprint that's set out to all these manufacturers that says, hey, this is the simplest one we can make. These are the parts that you guys need. These are the,
Yeah, I mean, there's different models.
Because I'd like to see more of these companies make them.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, frankly, I was upset when I found out that they didn't want them to use Remington, because these people are out of jobs. Put them back to work. Let's start some assembly lines going. I know it's not just that easy, but I'm just saying they could do whatever they could do. They're an industry. They could come up with the machining they need to do and just get them going, And then, you know what? Maybe continue the contracts after all this is done, so we can build up a national stockpile, or states can have a stockpile, or, hospitals,
What I think should happen is you have your tech companies that are, their forte is electronics, have them make all the
components,
electronical components, and then I'm guessing the rest should be pretty much simple machines,
or molds, or stamping, or in polymer injection, or whatever they do to make plastic parts.
And Remington has all that. So yeah, it's going to be an outlay of financial cost. And something I would say, if the government would be like, okay, if you want to start this, we will pay for the molds to do this so you can help the country, I would be okay with that kind of stimulus, but has to be dollar for dollar, nothing extra. I mean, what would you guys think about that?
I think so. I mean, because and Remington doesn't exactly have cash to spend either on this kind of thing. They need some money to cover the development costs for the parts, to cover and hold them accountable and say, we need receipts. We want to see invoices for what you had to buy, or whatever time and work you put, or get them some sort of compensation to boost them to get them going, instead of just saying, you must make these, They're not exactly in financial
like
whatever, but
GM is making them, right? I heard.
I'm sure. Well, we can just assume that there's companies making them that traditionally would not make them because that's just what's going on right now. Yeah.
Any company making any product that's going to be sold to the government's going to get a healthy price for it. The only people that are doing this stuff for free are people that are donating to hospitals and stuff like that.
No.
So, if you start making ventilators, and the government will pay you for them. Now, if you choose to donate them, that's on you.
Right. No, I'm talking about startup cost, and then anything above that is up to you.
Right.
And contract and
yeah.
So, but again, the fact that the governor of New York has started requisitioning these ventilators from other areas outside of New York City, just so he can bring them to New York City to use them for the city. That says something. What if he decided to have the National Guard take everybody's guns just so he could, quote unquote, and yes, I'm doing air quotes, just so he could secure New York City? That wouldn't go down, would it? But it's the same thing.
Nobody's getting shot by a ventilator. You don't have to worry about your cops dying when they go to pick up a ventilator.
Oh, that's not entirely true. But again, it's just the fact that he's also made a statement saying that sometime down the line, these hospitals and areas will be compensated for them, or they'll be returned somewhere down the line. I'm like, that's not how that works. No, you're supposed to buy them, or you're supposed to receive them from someone giving them to you. You're not supposed to just take them. I don't like the way things are going in New York, and I really hope things don't get worse.
The problem is that it's setting precedents for what's going to happen or what could happen in the future during another event like this. They're going to use this as a catalyst to propel themselves to the next one.
Well, it doesn't even have to be an event like this. What if it is, a hurricane or something that destroys, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess any event. You're right. Yeah.
And it could be like,
I get that.
We need boats now. They start going to people and, all right, you have a boat, you have a kayak, they're mine now.
Oh, one thing I want to say about the new, I was reading the news article about Cuomo's demands and stuff. He did go back and change his tone a little bit. He did have a meeting with the directors of these hospitals, according to this news article that I'm reading here, and he said he was only going to ask for 20% of their reserves of what they got for ventilators, getting 500 statewide sent to New York. So we can't say that they're going to romp in and take them all. We don't know. They might, and it might come out that these hospitals that have 5 or 6, they had to give them all up. But if they're coordinating with all these area, whatever, managers of these hospitals, and they say, well, how many can you give us? What's in your inventory? We need 20% of what you have. 2 out of every 10, that would make sense. But if we hear stories that they came in and took everything, then obviously he went back on his word,
No.
And that's, I'm not going to put it past any politician to not follow their word, but still.
So...
But it would be interesting if we start hearing from hospitals that say, yeah, the National Guard showed up and they ransacked our, supply room and took everything,
Uh-huh. Yeah, so what were you
it's hard telling what's really going to happen. So we can't say he's going to take them all, but still.
Foos, you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you were muted.
There you go.
That was odd. Anyway, let's say, Cuomo's like, hey, we need 20%, and they only have 10. They're down to 8, and then something happens, and they need 9 of them, or all 10 ventilators at that hospital. All of a sudden, someone doesn't get a ventilator in upstate New York because the city of New York took our last 2 that you would have gotten, so someone dies because of it.
this is also a bad thing because it's making precedents saying the big city is more important than the smaller towns and cities outside of the big city, and that's dangerous. So that's why we're covering this right now, because I saw it. I didn't like how it goes. Eventually, it could be applied to guns, but right now, I understand it's not, and it's just specific towards ventilators and supplies, to combat the virus.
But if a precedent gets set, it could apply to anything. It could apply to, your boats, trucks, anything. Oh,
fuel, resources, food, anything.
Well, what if all suddenly, hurricane or something comes and hits, name your state, and you're like, oh, we need to start requisitioning people's houses because we have all this National Guard that needs to have somewhere because our barracks or National Guard barracks or whatever got destroyed.
Tents, right? They're tents. We can't have them sleeping on tents during a hurricane. So
hold up. There's a Third Amendment for that.
Well, they're trying to walk over 1, 2, and all. Actually, a lot more than that, but
yeah.
But if it's after national security, but just like the government isn't supposed to be able to take private property.
Yeah,
Cuomo can't go and say, "I'm going to take this ventilator from a private company." That's unconstitutional.
It is. It definitely is. So I'm gonna keep watching this situation with New York, and hopefully things will get better. But I'm gonna cross my fingers. But as we all know, New York has always found new and ingenuitive ways to let us down. So, be prepared for the worst. So, moving on. Time for some good news. Did you hear what's happening in Culpeper County in Virginia?
No, what's going on, man?
All right. Well, Culpeper County, Virginia Gun Rights Group is delivering food during the COVID-19 emergency. Okay. So, Ken West, a volunteer with the Culpeper County 2A group, has been advocating for Second Amendment rights and pushing local representatives to support their civil rights. And you just mentioned that they have roughly 2,500 members in their group. And on one of their forums, a member posted that they should be doing something for the community as the local agencies are strained in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. And he mentioned picking up trash on the roadside. He commented that while this service was good, we should do something impactful, like delivering food or medication to the elderly and shut-ins in the county, because they're in the state of Virginia. There is a state home order unless you're doing this or that. A lot of states have instituted that. Patrick Helene is the lead organizer of their group, and he asked Ken West to run with it. So Ken did, and Ken put out a request for volunteers to step up and help. The goal being, 1, help our neighbors, and 2, demonstrate to everyone that the staunch supporters of the Second Amendment are their neighbors and people who protect and aid in a time of need. We aren't the image that the media tries to paint us with. We have organized into 4 teams of 6 and 7 members with team leaders directing their squads. We've been delivering food packages to the elderly and other at-risk individuals, and we have produced this video to help our volunteers stay safe. And I'm going to see if I can get the video so I can, share that with everyone.
If you mute it, we can watch it, can't we? Or is it going to hit you for playing video during a video?
It'll hit me for that. So I'm just going to put the link.
Matt does.
Well, Matt doesn't care. I care. Okay.
I think this is a good thing. You're starting to hear a lot about community groups that are that are getting out there and they're keeping their social distancing, but couples they can make some meals to help people out. I know, like Meals on Wheels, which is a really good service. I've actually helped my wife do that before to deliver to the elderly in the community that we lived in. They're really taking a hit right now because a lot of people don't want to leave the house. A lot of their drivers are older people. They don't want to go to the kitchens where the food is because there's more people there. And so, there's a lot of people that do need a lot of help right now. And I think it's cool when these groups do that because, for one thing, it does show the community that we care about the community and we are just like anybody else. And, I think it's a good thing. I think we're going to start to see more and more of that now too. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see how people hold up. And I like to think the conditions are going to improve as time goes on, but that's just me.
I do too. I do too. And I'm glad that people are stepping up and, doing this because at this time we need to be doing more of this stuff, not doing less.
Yeah.
So it's good to see this is going on. Now, time for some bad news. And it's not from New York this time. It's from the other one. California. California. Federal court denies restraining order to open LA County gun stores. Thank you, California. All right, this one's from it's from the same news source that I got this. But Firearms Policy Coalition issued the following statement after federal district judge Andre Barat Jr., a Barack Obama appointee, denied a request for a temporary restraining order in a federal civil rights lawsuit in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, the court's utterly absurd and misguided constitutional analysis allowed the city of Los Angeles and other defendants to continue violating the fundamental individual rights of millions of people in Los Angeles County. The court's awful ruling in this matter is far from the end of this lawsuit. We will continue to seek a preliminary injunction in this matter and are prepared to seek relief from the Ninth Circuit and Supreme Court should doing so be necessary to end these unconstitutional bans, defend liberty, and fight for the rights of our members and the public. Notably, however, the court held that with respect to Executive Order N3320, state defendants have shown that the order does not require the closure of firearms or ammunition retailers. Last Friday, attorneys for California Governor Gavin Newsom and Public Health Officer Sonia Angel argued that the governor has publicly confirmed the executive order does not mandate the closure of firearms and ammunition retailers. The extent any local official acting on his or her own authority requires the closure of those retailers. Such actions do not concern the executive order. And this is California's executive order, not the presidential executive order. Different. More, they said, people face no imminent and irreparable harm that may be traced to the executive order or the state defendants. Thus, according to the Governor Newsom and Public Health Officer Angel, and now a federal judge, the operation of firearm and ammunition retailers are not banned under the state's orders. So, I guess that's good news and bad news.
So they're still open.
I don't know. Calaveras, are you out there, Pickle Boy, to let us know if they're open or not? If they are, click one click for yes, 2 clicks for no.
Thumbs up emoji. Happy face if they are, frowny face if they're not. I guess if there's one good thing that would come out of the infringing of the rights that's going on, it would be for those people, those first-time gun buyers that are trying to get them, that go to that gun store and they find out that gun store is closed and they don't understand why, and people explain to them, well, it's because of these laws that have been passed or these whatever you want to call mandates that have been passed. And well, that doesn't make sense. I thought I could go buy a gun anytime I want. Well, normally you can, but when these things come out and you can't, it might frustrate those people and maybe make them into Pro 2A people in the end. I'm sure it's going to be a small percentage we're going to turn, but any of these first-time gun owners that are going out that are running into that difficulty, just like a lot of the people that didn't know that there was waiting periods on the handguns, that they had to wait 10 days to pick it up or whatever, depending on the state. They had no idea because they never really never really had an opinion about firearms, or if they did, they didn't know how things worked, or they were just against it, or they were indifferent. And I mean, I think that maybe it's going to show these people, here's the frustrations you get of trying to be a gun owner, trying to protect your family. This is what we've been dealing with for years,
Maryland has a sticky situation. When the stay-at-home order came from the governor, the gun stores closed. But they said that they weren't closed, but a bunch of them were closed. Anyway, besides that, now they're open, supposedly. And 58 of our representatives, all Democrats, have written a letter to Larry Hogan, who's our governor, imploring him to close all the gun stores down and ignore the federal whatever statement that they said that gun stores are essential. And then they said they're all anti-gun. I mean, you guys are all familiar with Maryland. Anybody out there knows Maryland sucks when it comes to guns, and our Democrats are the worst. They said if you choose to follow the mandate, make all your gun stores appointment only. Now, they said that there was a vast majority of Marylanders that were horrified and scared that gun sales were going through the roof. Just like every other state, Maryland set records for, applications and all that kind of stuff. And they said what scared them the most was that there was massive lines at all these stores. So if there's massive lines at all the stores, where are the massive amounts of people who don't want people to have guns? You can't have both. You can't have a mass amount of people going to get a gun and still have a mass amount of people that don't want people going to get guns.
Yeah, it's just media hype, dude. That's all it is. Just pushing what little numbers they can get, and they're trying to amplify it and show it the best they can. And in the end, it's not real.
Right.
But you're right. You're right.
Lying. It's just downright lying.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
So, okay, Scott P79 sent me some memes. I'm not going to show the second one, but I will show the first one because I think it's pretty funny. So, because it goes to a conversation we were having earlier before the chat.
Oh, about reloading?
No. Once your buddy gets you into Kalashnikovs, Bakelite magazines, and rare accessories, I am never going to financially recover from this.
So, that AK that you bought from me, you spent more on stuff for that rifle than you purchased that rifle for. Is that a true statement?
Not yet. Not yet, because I've been very shrewd about what I bought.
Okay.
I've tried to play conservative with mine, man. Trying not to pop them up too much.
You haven't.
If you want to say, I probably spent more for ammo than the rifle, then yes. But as far as accessories, not so much because I've been the cheap bastard,
Yeah. And I forgot you have one.
Yeah, I've got the James River Armory edition. Well, they call it an AMD 65, right? It's like the stock 63. Version of it. Well, it's not a 63. They call it a 65, which isn't real. They just call it that for sales terminology, but it's essentially a fixed stock version of the 63. It's still made by FEG or whoever made the original receiver. And then mine's got the little tack rail up on the FEG. Mine's got the little tack rail up on the front. So it's got a few little enhancements, but it's nothing anybody couldn't do on their own if they wanted to.
Yeah, I need to get a new bolt carrier for mine because on one of mine, I forget even who makes it. It's the one that I got really drunk and woke up the next day and it was on its way to an FFL. So
do you hate when that happens?
Yeah. So the hammer is way too hard. So that little
beating the heck out of the back of it.
Yeah. Like
double collar got nailed.
To the point that I fired it once, and I'm like, "Why is my bolt stuck open?" I opened up I pushed on that button on the back, and it sent the bolt home.
Was it the Tapco G2?
Yep.
The trigger? Is that what it was? Yeah, they're pretty heavy on. I've got one of those in mine, and it does a number on the bolt. I need to swap it out for something else, but
so I quit firing it, and I actually have a couple ALG triggers that I ordered like a month ago. that still haven't been shipped.
Does PSA? I know they're making their own triggers. Can you buy their trigger for an AK-47? I've never honestly looked at a trigger pack. Do they sell a kit for the AK or not? Because I mean, I know that their AKs are starting to run out basically, and their prices are going up. But because you got your AR parts kits you can buy for your trigger group and stuff like that. I was kind of curious if they were doing that.
Google that for you.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Because I would like to swap mine out because I don't shoot it a whole lot because I've seen kind of what it's done to that bull carrier group, and it is forged and it's built right, but the barrel is a slightly soft seal, but I don't do mag dumps in it, so I don't worry about it. But it's a 4140 steel instead of 4150, but
that's
I'm sure they do. But fun fact: Budget Guns and Gear reviews out there sold me his AK master mount that wouldn't fit on his AK because apparently his trigger and hammer pin holes were oversized. So I believe that's what he said. Budget, correct me if I'm wrong. That's just what you said in the email. So I got the master mount. I put it on my rifle. The holes were up to spec and they fit just fine, except I put the mount on backwards, so I had to fix that. Yes, so
it's all right, man.
Gotta live and learn. I had it upside down, and it had to go the other way. So that took a little while, but now that I've got it on there, it's nice to have an AK with a rail now. I'll tell you, an AK without a rail is an incomplete AK. I tell you. I mean, I've got I've got the pictures later.
I have a top mount for an AK-74 where it replaces the dust cover, replaces, goes into the front sight post and shit like that.
I've heard those are unreliable because the top cover isn't the top cover moves around too much while the rifle cycles.
Yeah, I've heard you are unreliable.
I just want to know on PSA, how do these Croatian magazines actually get a 5-star review? Sorry, 4.5 out of 6. It's like, really? Well,
I haven't had an issue.
No, when I watched the AK-47 OU video when he was testing him, he had trouble getting him to run like an Arsenal and a Vepr. He had trouble with 2 of his rifles, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So,
okay, but I'm looking at PSA right now, and they are selling the trigger and the hammers. They've got a drop-in CMC kit for $225.
Yeah, that's not I don't think that's a kit that they make though. It's not their own parts.
They sell the double hook trigger, and I'm totally sure if you look further, they also have the hammer too. So
I was gonna say the hammer, and then you got to get different springs and stuff. But I'm not gonna fiddle with it now. But it's just a thought. Maybe I'd put something nice aftermarket in there. So I don't think Tapco's even around anymore, right? They're done. So the G2s are gonna disappear. Yeah. Was it the GF3 trigger? Is that what the PSAs have in them? I haven't looked at the.
I'm actually thinking about putting the com block triggers back in because they weren't bad.
It's not a bad idea. I wonder if those are readily available, like parts kits for those. No problems getting those. I've really never done any kind of hopping up on my AK at all. Haven't had to.
So if I run that, I have to run a Tapco mag to be able to be 922R compliant.
Oh,
that's what sucks.
So, does anybody still follow that?
You just don't have to stay any. Well, if you sell it, you probably want to make sure it's parts compliant. I highly doubt that. I don't know if I've ever heard of anybody who's ever been arrested for being out of 922R compliancy when they've sold somebody a gun or got caught with it.
But still, I'm not going to.
Yeah,
I'm not going to run one.
Yeah, I wouldn't risk it.
Or if you do, just don't say anything to anybody. Nobody's ever going to know unless you get whatever.
Well, all the U.S. made parts have to be stamped U.S. So, all right.
Looks like PSA's got a bunch of their AKs back in stock. So maybe demand and supply are starting to kind of level out a little bit. I know those AKEs have been sold out for quite a while. I think those are going to be sold out we're not going to see those back in stock for quite a while because everybody keeps buying them as soon as they pop up. Yep.
Okay, so I've got images. I've finally got that working. So there we go. That's what it looks like.
Oh yeah.
See, I've got the side rail on it now. And that is how it's supposed to properly mount. It's not supposed to be properly mounted upside down. Okay, I made sure. I was wondering why it was hanging off of the frame, and it's not supposed to do that. So I fixed it.
Are those rhinestones?
No, that's the East German buttstock.
It's nice, right? It's furniture. It's not a chandelier.
Is that a jump rope or is that a strap?
That's a sling. It's an East German sling.
Sunny days, waking up, communist.
Wow. Just wow.
Like a Sesame Street commie block version, Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one.
Very big bird. Very big bird.
Can you tell me how to get to Vodka Street? Oh.
There we go.
Yeah, it's definitely bejeweled, isn't it? I like that. I'm gonna start calling you Rhinestone Cowboy, Rhinestone Kalashnikov. So
no, that's how the East German buttstocks look. I've got another one that looks exactly like that.
You don't have to lie. You got more than one. You went to Hobby Lobby before.
That's how the East German Bakelite furniture looks like.
Dude, I know. I've seen it before. I get you, but it still looks like it's right. At least I know now if I'm going to bejewel my AK what it's going to look like in the end. So that gives me a good idea. So
it's the Far East.
Some wicked stippling. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Ghost Shadow saying at Night Strike, Alaska State Troopers sold a few Crown Vics, screwed up and left kits in trunks of a couple. Left 2 Select Fire MP5s in 2 cars. Someone really screwed up. I don't think someone screwed up. I think someone was trying to do a backdoor deal, if you know what I mean.
I'd have those things on ferries to the mainland in 20 minutes, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, that police sheriff. I mean, it's perfectly legal to sell his brother a car.
Oh man! All right, hey, Night Strike, I got a jet, man. I'm gonna head on over to Sandy's podcast here in a second. So,
we're gonna
I gotta head out.
So, all right, Travis, you first, and then Duke, you next.
Yep.
All right, Travis.
Thanks.
Appreciate the invite, guys. Make sure you check out GunTube.org and make sure you support GunTube.org over on Patreon. It's a great place to go. It's what's hosting this episode tonight, which is great. And that's it. Check out my channel, Travis P11. Like and subscribe, and check out everybody on this podcast. They got great channels too. So thanks a lot, man.
Yep. All right, Duke.
All right. Have a good night. Really appreciate the invite, guys. Have a great night. Be safe.
All right, Kingpin.
Peace out.
All right, roll call.
I don't have an AK, and I didn't have anything to talk
Gotta get
about.
you one.
And I need an AK.
We gotta get you one, buddy.
So
we need an AK or an SKS to get you in the game.
And Wednesday night's probably gonna be on Night Strike's channel because Cindy has to work at home. So that's probably the consensus. But yeah, I don't have an AK.
Foos, final thoughts.
After you clean the brass. That's it.
Go for it. Continue.
No.
Continue.
No.
All right.
I will totally, absolutely, 100% not say anything.
Okay. Stacy, thanks for showing up.
Oh, thanks for having me. So that's it.
All right. Yep. Well, with that, we'll see you guys next week. We'll see you guys, I guess, tomorrow for Rants and Raves because, Roll Call can't host it on his channel because it's his internet. So we're going to see if the call-in feature works properly enough for him to call in. He's going to have to call Rants and Raves in. That's hilarious, but it's funny. I'm using it. So we'll do that. So thanks, guys, for listening. Thank you guys for hanging out. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.
Hashtag
Shall not be
internet.
infringed. Menace, dude.
Hashtag.
Adios, Felicia. Felicia. And what's budgets? Always keep one in the chamber?
Las veces las manos. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands and use the whatchamacallit, the alcohol hand sanitizers. So yeah, with that, we'll see you guys we'll see you guys tomorrow, I guess. Later, guys.
They don't say shall not be infringed yet.